5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
This is 14 North Radio with Mikey Solis, Sean Miller, and Jerad Bensick.
Yes. We made it back. We made it to join you guys for the 15th episode of the podcast.
15 hours.
15 hours, over 15 hours.
Plus.
Plus, well, there's a lot we haven't aired, so it's like 15 hours of real podcast and
There's
12
about-
hours of drunken podcast. We didn't air.
I bet like the behind-the-scenes stuff that we have and the couple podcasts that never made it to light, it's got to be up there now. We've got to be closer to 20 hours.
Probably.
But hey, thanks for coming back with us and listening. We've yet again come back from another trip. We'll talk about that a little bit later.
Mm-hmm.
We want to get into some of the stuff that went on in the last 2 weeks since we haven't been
topical
tonight, and we'll try to keep it light and smiley.
And airy.
And actually, we'll probably start with the darker one. We lost, I guess, a movie icon or a TV icon.
Yeah, total
Oh,
icon.
both.
Yeah.
Both.
Yeah, it was weird because I was watching that new Star Trek, the first one they came out with, and the day before he passed away.
Really?
It was just
the
odd that they
J.J.
were airing
Abrams
it.
one?
Yeah, the first J.J. Abrams.
Okay.
It's interesting. I was never really into Star Trek. I've always wanted to watch them. I just never kind of got into it. I liked the reboots I thought were great.
Mm-hmm.
But I followed Leonard Nimoy in his kind of like social way, where he was really kind of an advocate for space and also just like the character he portrayed, and it was really interesting him taking it on, because then after it all happened I started like reading up on different things, and he wrote a book like I think it might have even been in the 70s saying I am not Spock, and then he released another book in the 90s saying I am Spock. He just like really embraced what that character was.
Was he messing with people?
No, because I think he was always so against, because also I read that before he got that role, he was teaching actors to be what is it called? The Stanislavski way of acting, where you're always in character, like method actors. That's what he was doing, and so Spock was just a character to him. But he got recognized as Spock so much, I think it was kind of hard for him at first.
But what else did he do? But everybody knows him for.
Yeah, but then he embraced it later in life, and like really was an advocate for space travel and exploring our universe, and I think that's really cool. And that's I think in his later life he became more of a voice for that, and not just being a TV star or movie star.
So you often get asked, it's either you're an Elvis guy or you're a Beatles guy, or you're a Star Trek guy, or you a Star Wars guy.
Yeah,
and I would get thrust into the Star. What is it? Not Star Wars. What are we talking about?
Star Trek.
Star Trek. Jeez. I would get thrust into the Star Trek world, doing commentaries for Next Generation. You know, Patrick Stewart and all of them, and I got to see what it was really all about. I'm not a Trekkie by any means, and I kind of felt bad because the things I got to do, a Trekkie would give anything to do.
A Trekkie wet dream right there.
Right there. I mean, I've done it all. I've been with the entire cast of, the Next Gen guys and the Enterprise guys, which Enterprise was with Scott Bakula, who we've seen so much of in the last
couple days.
Not even just in a couple days. We actually, just to throw it in real quick, we were in New Orleans doing some of the NCIS New Orleans stuff, but since then, Scott Bakula has just been popping up everywhere. I just watched American Beauty.
Yeah,
he was in that. I just rewatched Necessary Roughness. I mean,
he's in that.
He's the quarterback in that.
Is when I was like first getting into this, and like I knew I was going to be kind of doing the New Orleans show, and that we got this New Orleans show. I didn't know who Scott Bakula was, and one of the movies that Gary, our boss, said, "Oh, he's in American Beauty."
Yeah,
and I immediately knew who it was from American Beauty, which is funny.
I grew up watching Quantum Leap. That was like a family show.
I never watched it.
Yeah, see, that was a family show. I remember when that came on, that was like the show we all got together and watched.
Really?
But it's still huge. Like, when you say Scott Bakula's name, everybody brings up...
he was in Star Trek. But
Quantum Leap comes up more so than Enterprise. And I didn't... I don't want to say I didn't care for Enterprise. It was just, when you go from the original series of Star Trek into Next Generation wasn't bad.
No, a lot of people like Next Generation a lot, I think.
You had the Reading Rainbow dude on there. Like, I should know all these names.
The guy who played number 2.
In Austin Powers?
No, number 1, number 2. I forget their names. He was like, take over the helm, number 1. What?
In Star Trek?
Yeah.
In the Next Gen?
That dude's a director of TV shows, and I didn't know this.
Mm-hmm.
And so he was there. He directed NCIS LA one time. Oh.
Which dude?
The dude with the beard. He always had a beard.
In
Next
Next
I know
Gen?
who you're talking about.
Yeah.
I don't
Look
know
him
his
up.
name.
He always had a beard, and he was directing an episode of NCIS LA one time. And I was like, why the fuck do I know this guy's name?
I know who you're talking about.
But he's like swollen and big with no beard. I was like, no,
God
that's
damn.
him.
See, this
I
is
totally
why
see his face.
this is why every Trekkie would hate me because
I know, we're bad. Terrible.
Yeah, he was.
Clueless.
Hold on, I'll give you.
Look-
give me
look-
2 seconds. I'm
I
gonna
think
know.
it's like John something.
Yeah, he was the commander, and Patrick Stewart.
Jonathan
was the
Frakes?
admiral.
Yeah.
Yes.
Jonathan Frakes. Yep.
If you look at him now, he's kind of just doubled in size. With
What was his name in the show? Commander.
Commander William T. Riker.
Riker.
Boom.
Riker.
That's a good name. That's a good name.
They did pretty good with that.
Yeah.
And that was Roddenberry still into the latter years of
He was
Next
still
Generation.
around? He was still around then?
Yeah, he still had it.
Riker. That's a good name.
But it's crazy though how much. Oh well, I just went to the to go see the shuttle. Have you seen the shuttle yet?
I haven't seen. I actually want to go, like soon. I actually went to LACMA on Sunday because we're like members, and I do want to get out and go see stuff more often because it's just like we live in a city where we have so much, and I never take advantage of it. And I feel bad.
I want to get back into the shuttle.
Just end up
'cause
watching
the shuttle
Netflix on the weekend.
I know, seriously, that's what happens.
When we had our we did 2 Kubrick documentaries. When we did the first Kubrick documentary we did, they played it at LACMA, and we had all gotten tickets for it,
which was awesome. By the
So
way.
I had 4 tickets because 4 people were supposed to come with me, and then 2 had flaked, and so I was in line to pick up my tickets at will call, and these 2 people behind me were sold out and they wanted tickets, and so I said, hey.
You scalped your own tickets?
No, I didn't scalp them. I gave them for what I gave it to them for what I paid for them.
All right.
And the reply to me was, "Well, we're members." And so I said, "Well, go to the window and tell them that, and see what they tell you." And so they were completely sold out. So I wasn't a dick after. I just said, "Hey, just give me what I paid for them, and I'll give you the 2 tickets." But it's weird. They're like, "We're members," and when you just said that we're members,
well, because members get those special.
They wanted me to honor the special rate. I was like, well, I'm not going to take a $10 hit because you were too late for buying tickets. But
did you go like late when it was like getting ready to close or what?
No, they only showed it one time. They only showed our documentary one time.
Oh, you're talking about seeing the movie.
Our documentary was screened after the showing of Dr. Strangelove, which was amazing to see
when
on the
was
big
that?
screen.
I don't
This is
know.
back in November of 2012.
I didn't even go to that. I don't know.
It
didn't
was
go.
at LACMA?
It was at LACMA. They screened
Oh,
it.
that's cool.
Yeah.
I thought you were talking about the Kubrick exhibit.
No. It was all a part of that, but they were screening different Kubrick movies during the time that the exhibit was there. But our documentary was going to be shown right after Dr. Strangelove.
Oh, that's cool.
Right.
But what the really cool thing was getting to see Strangelove on the big screen.
Oh yeah, I got to see it. I think on film at my film school when I went to school because every Friday or something, I can't remember what day it was, they would show a movie that was projected on film and you could go and
Right.
it was free and it was awesome. Like I got to see so many movies that I would have never seen projected.
I wish I would have went to more films at the LA Film School, but I didn't. But bringing us back to the shuttle, man. When I walked into that building, like so, just to give you a background, I'm a huge buff of aviation. I've always been a fan of it. My favorite plane of all time is the Spruce Goose, and I never got to see it when it was in LA. I always blame my parents for that. I blame them for everything, but it's irrelevant right now. So when I went to Oregon to go see the Spruce Goose, and when you walk in there, it's amazing how massive this plane is.
It's all wood.
It's all wood, and there was that feeling that I got that I was like, it'll never be taken over again. I'll never have this feeling about another aircraft again. And then when I walked into the display for the shuttle,
Yeah.
It was,
it was beyond anything I could ever think.
and that shuttle was literally in space.
25 times.
That's insane, huh?
I saw it land. I saw it land twice as a kid.
It's emotional, dude. I literally got emotional when I walked in there.
I wish. Well, that's what I was saying. I wish I was older because I would appreciate it more.
I think. Well, you saw it though, right? You went to see it.
No, well, I saw it. I saw it at the museum. I took the kids over the summer to see it, and it was awesome. I was like, wow, this is cool. But when I was a kid, I was like, I don't know, 9, 10, 11. And I was looking at girls in the crowd, and it landed, and I was like, okay, this is cool. I didn't appreciate it as much as I would now.
So, you're talking about the landing. You wish you were older for the landing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Did you guys see it fly around LA?
I didn't get to see it because we were working that day in a
so
building.
I got to see it, dude. It was fucking awesome. Well, it was like literally because it was the time when I was working in West LA, and they had a eight-story
Everybody on
building.
Facebook had a picture of it.
I got a picture of it. Like, it was awesome. Like, it was one of the coolest things that
I saw.
Not such a small percentage of people actually got to see a freaking plane carrying the Endeavor flying around.
Dude, I made phone call. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No. Well, I was going to say at Edwards, I saw that fucking shuttle get lifted on the elevator. It was a giant red elevator. I went to visit my dad works at NASA, for the fans out there, at Edwards. I saw it get lifted up in this elevator, and a plane came through and it connected it, and it took off.
Really?
I was at Edwards that day when I saw it.
I called
again. I wish I was older. I would appreciate it more.
Yeah.
When it came back into Edwards, because the 747 that it flies in on, it lands in Edwards. That's where they got it back to. And I called everybody that I knew to try to get a spot to go see it land at Edwards. I know people at Lockheed, at Boeing, Sean's dad at NASA, and it was just like, no, nothing
Really?
you could do could get you in to go see this thing land. And I'm sure it's got to do a lot with, like, you know, the state of the U.S. now. Because I remember as a kid, dude, we used to get on to Edwards like nothing.
See,
it was
that's
different.
cool.
Things were different back then, man.
This is a bridge to it, but so I've been amazed with like aerospace as well, and it was because I was very young. I don't remember how old I was, but for a class we built Estes rockets, and so we built them and launched them off. But then I told my dad that night, I was like, we have to like get this, and we got a launch pad. And I built so many Estes rockets. I think they still have my like launch pad, and it was cool because they had an Estes facility in Colorado, like not far away from my town. And man, that was probably one of the coolest like toys, I guess, that I would have as a kid, to build a rocket and see it launch, watch it just in the air, and then running to go like get it and then just try to launch it again.
Here's an interesting question. I mean, it's kind of making me think, like, is there something you guys did as a kid that you would almost hope to postpone till you're an adult so you can appreciate it?
Ooh,
I mean, I've always liked space and liked the questions of space and what's out there and what's going on and space travel. Like I've always been fascinated with it in my own right. My parents didn't put that on me. Like, I don't know what it was, but I've always been interested in it.
I'll give you a perfect example of that.
Yeah.
I was in Paris for 2 nights, and all I did was go out there and rage. And you
didn't enjoy the city.
No, I enjoyed the city very much, but there was so like I didn't. This is gonna sound stupid. I didn't know the Louvre was there.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't go to the Louvre, and what happened was we got on a train to come back, and some friends of mine were on the same train, and they're like, "Oh my God, we went to the Louvre and we saw everything." And they were like, there was no line to get in. They just walked in.
So you partied instead of seeing like all this historical
but I went to the top of the Eiffel Tower. I did that. I saw the Notre Dame Cathedral. But there's so much more to that city, dude. It was just like, it was one of those things that, because of my age, you know, I went to Rome twice.
Were you?
I was 19.
Oh yeah, dude.
20. I was 20 when I went to Paris. Even when I went to Rome, all we did was party. And I've been to Rome twice, and I never went into the Sistine Chapel. I did the Vatican, and that's amazing.
Yeah.
But there was just so much more shit that today, like you said,
did you see the Colosseum there?
Oh yeah, we went to the Colosseum because it's cool when you get off the train in Rome. This is what I love about Europe, dude. You could just be walking outside of a train station, walking, and then all of a sudden, here's the fucking 2,100-year-old Colosseum.
That's insane.
And it just pops up on you. You don't have even time to react.
See, I mean, I can see that. Like, I mean, I've always been into art, and I think, though, at a young age, you're in a city, you're just like, you're only there for a couple of days. Like, I'm going to party. I'm going to have fun. I'm not going to go to a museum for 6 hours.
That's the other thing that I sucked at is when my family came out to Italy to come see me. My 11-year-old brother at the time was naming statues and he was naming this
Are you
and that.
serious?
Yeah,
Wow,
I
that's
was
cool.
bummed out because I was like, he fucking knew all that.
He knew more than you did.
Yeah, he knew he was like, oh, this is the statue of Poseidon.
Wow.
And I was like, see,
You're like, you want to do a shot?
yeah, that's exactly what it
Shot.
was. And it was just like, I feel like if I knew more about it prior to going,
Yeah.
it's got to be amazing. Because there's the statue of Medusa there. There's the statue of David. I mean, everybody knows David, but all the little shit that if you're not privy to it, it's just a fucking party town.
I took the kids to an Italian restaurant recently, and they had a statue of a naked dude and a naked chick. And my daughter, who's 7, she was like, his pee-pee's out. I was like, yeah. And she's like, it looks weird. His pee-pee's out. She could not stop looking at it. I was like, don't worry about it.
I
She's
went
intrigued.
to.
Oh, no.
I went of like maybe 15 kids. I went on the 8th grade trip. A lot of people, I think, in the country do this. On your end of your 8th grade year, some people get to go to Washington D.C. And I was one of those people that got to go. I mean, you got to pay for it, but I wanted to go. And we were there for like 3 or 4 days. Like, I want to go back. Like,
So here-
because I think I would appreciate it more now.
Right.
You know what's
compared
funny?
to what I was then.
Here's the thing about DC, though, and this is kind of how we're brought up in school. We're brought up with a lot of American culture, American innovation. So when you go to DC, you know a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
You know the Capitol, you know the White House, obviously, and you know about the Smithsonian.
Yep.
And I'm like I said, I was a big aviation fan. I got to see the Wright brothers plane, and I stayed at the Watergate.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and my ex-wife at the well, she's my ex-wife now. We were going, and I said we got to stay at the Watergate, and she was like, "What's that?"
Are you serious?
It should have been right there. I should have been like,
that's what we call a tell.
it should have been time to go.
What's that? Do you have a shot?
So what sucked is, well, I do remember this vividly. Our last day was our day for the Smithsonian, and there's like 7 museums or something crazy.
Yeah.
We had to like run through them,
It's massive.
and
It was bigger than I thought.
Well,
when
there's
I
so
went.
many. There's multiple.
It's crazy.
yeah, I do remember seeing all the dinosaurs, and that blew my mind.
The Smithsonian Natural History Museum is amazing.
Because I mean, I'd never seen dinosaur bones before then.
Well, see, LA had them.
Yeah, so you would see them, and I've been to the Natural History Museum here, which is awesome. But
Denver had a good museum. I went to Denver. They had a.
yeah, they have it now. I never
Yeah.
went. I mean,
Oh, really? Okay.
yeah.
So that's where so the shuttle Atlantis is at the Smithsonian in DC.
Oh, really?
And so we got Endeavor, and just like walking into that building, you know, if you see something and you're like, well, that's been to space, and you're kind of like, you can't really wrap your mind around it. But when you see the shuttle,
Yeah.
you can feel it. You could tell that.
The
This-
thing that makes you think about it is that was built 25 years ago, 30 years ago.
Yeah, they started in the 70s, the space program.
So, I mean,
the-
30
Got
45
engineering,
years
technology, and we didn't
Late
even have
70s.
the internet till 15 years ago, and they built that thing.
Well, don't they say that when they landed on the moon, your phone is smarter than the computers they had?
Sure.
I heard a fucking really interesting thing about that. They said, yes, that's true. Then all the phone has more processing power than all of NASA for the moon landing, but that processing power is used to hurl birds at pigs.
It said dick pics.
I
Right?
thought that was genius, Steve.
But think about that feat. Think about how smart those guys were.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Like to be able to not have really anything. Like now,
But
it's like there's
that's the
simulations.
brilliance.
I want to be a smart dude. Just smoke cigarettes inside
Inside
engineering.
Houston?
Yeah, it's with the coffee.
wait-
You're like, no, we can't fit that in here. No, fucking build something.
What was it? There was another one that I saw with that. It was like they put a man on the moon before they put wheels on luggage.
Oh, right.
It was just, but the thing is like this brings me to a point that I'm really fascinated with is all like the feats and accomplishments that were accomplished prior to today. Because I think today we were talking about landing on Mars, and that's so feasible today. But you look at, let's go towards the first ever Tour de France. How it was ridden on bikes that you couldn't even ride around today with,
Yeah.
And then, you go to Everest. The first person to summit Everest, they didn't have oxygen tanks and all this stuff. And so it's like, how did they accomplish this?
Right.
Yeah, and then they were, smoking cigarettes up there.
Smoking cigarettes.
like, dude, just like these burly ass men, I'm going to climb that mountain. And just did it. And then all those Tibetans, they just did that shit.
They live there and just do it. But now, it's funny, it's been so long that, did you guys read this? How there's so much shit, literal shit, on the mountain now.
It's poop.
They say there's like 2,600 pounds of human excrement every season.
Just because it freezes and it can't disintegrate.
Can't disintegrate. And then they said as the snow moves down.
Imagine climbing a bunch of frozen poop.
And dead people all over, dude.
I know, yeah. That's a freaky part.
All right, so the great thing about Everest is, like, I don't know if you're familiar with how this works. So when you go to climb Everest, first you have to write a letter to the government of Nepal. You have to get a visa to even go into Nepal. And then when you're getting ready to summit but when you get to start climbing, there's several base camps you have to go to and stay at for like a month to get acclimated to the altitude.
It's a month?
It's a month at each base station.
Jesus, how long is this trip to climb Everest?
It's forever, because you get to one base station and you got to sit there for, I think, 3 weeks, get acclimated to make the next level up. So
Shit.
at the lower base station...
They should do that with Lake LA.
What do you mean?
Just, you got to wait at a way station for 3 weeks.
For 3 weeks before you go in?
Yeah. Before you're allowed in.
So you go in, and this first acclimation point is where they still have toilets. But these toilets are barrels. And when the barrels are full...
They just dump them?
These Sherpas are not Sherpas, but like these workers have to come get the barrels and take them down for disposal.
Imagine being those dudes.
Imagine having that job. You know, when you're having a shitty day at work, you're like, you know, this kind of sucks, but do you have to take a barrel of shit 10,000 feet down a mountain to go dispose of it? But then after the next level, because then there's another level of altitude and then another base camp, which is, I think, your final base camp, there's no toilets. So what the climbers do is they dig and shit. And then since they've been summiting the mountain, when was it summited? This is what's crazy. This year that it was summited was, I think it was like 1930, or might have been earlier than that. It was Hillary was the first person. His last name was Hillary. I should have researched this. I should be a better podcaster and have this
Know
down.
your business.
Right? No toilets, dude. That's insane. I never thought about it. You ever had
You
that?
never think about those things. Like
You want to go. You want to
sometimes
do it,
gotta-
right?
You got to go on the mountain.
I always actually wanted to do it. When I was a kid, I was like,
I'm going to do Everest.
I want to do it.
But you
then
don't ever-
after reading about it and what you have to go through, I'm like, nah. Edmund Hillary.
Edmund Hillary was the first guy to summit it.
Tezing something.
What year was that?
Yeah, what year?
Looking it up here. May 29th, 1953.
Okay, so 53, they did
He was
it.
New Zealand. He was from New Zealand. Edmund Hillary and somebody from Nepal, Tezing Norgay.
First documented.
The first two that made it up.
I feel like I bet
Somebody
you
else went?
back in
No,
the
they're
day.
the first people ever. I mean, nobody would ever tried it before.
Nobody would have ever known.
I feel like back in the day,
What's up there?
And then,
1,000 years ago, some
I
dude.
mean, that's 29,000 feet.
Yeah,
that's pretty
almost
crazy.
30. It's shy of 30,000.
That's pretty. Crazy.
But I never thought.
I mean, the highest I've been not in a plane is, I think, 17,000 feet. And that's high.
Yeah, it's up there.
Colorado.
Yeah.
Past the
No.
tree line. What's a tree
There's
line?
no
Sorry,
way-
13,000
Yeah, I was
going
going
to
to say the
13,000
highest
feet.
point in
North America.
North America is 14, and then
Yeah.
Mount McKinley I think is like 16. So I think it's still under 17.
Maybe it was either 11 or 13. It's a ski resort, and the top of the mountain is like at 11,000 feet.
Yeah, so here in California, Mount Whitney's the highest point.
So you're going up 20,000 more feet.
yeah,
like, from the
20K.
highest I've been as a person.
It's so weird to see the tree line end. It's strange to me because then it just looks like just dirt and rock above trees.
Yeah,
you see the
dude.
tree
They
line
just
end?
can't breathe.
Yeah,
You
I've
can't breathe
seen.
up there.
I mean, in Colorado, you could see when the tree line ends, and like it's just mountain
Yeah, nothing.
snow.
That's crazy.
Snow 24 hours
Yeah.
or 365 days a year. It's like it's not snowing, but there will be snow up there still.
There will be snow.
It's a year-round glacier then at that point if the snow doesn't melt. But I was like,
So you're saying Everest is a poop glacier?
it's a poop glacier now. However, I mean, every
How many-
season, 26,000 pounds of human excrement.
And
How
not
many
only that-
bodies are up there?
A ton. There's a lot.
Yeah, there's got to
There's
be
a
a list of
documentary-
how many bodies are up there.
There's a documentary about all
They,
the bodies that
they
are up
can't
there.
just bring them down.
You can't bring them
You
down.
can't. It's extra weight.
And they're pretty much frozen all the way through by the time you come back.
And not only that, not only is the puke up there, every time you finish something like a water bottle or something, you just leave it because it's extra weight.
Hey, you're not carrying a water
Well,
bottle.
but
up
they're
there.
canister. Yeah, you need water.
Canisters, all that.
I
They
know, but
leave
don't
it.
you have something? I guess you have a water bottle that you could filter water into.
You can't.
Well, no,
'cause
here's
it's
what they
poop
were
water.
doing. So they were doing they were melting snow ice and drinking the water that way. But because now they're saying because the temperature for boiling water is so much lower at higher altitude, they said it's not killing the bacteria from the feces.
So it's So there's literally feces everywhere.
Yeah, so you relied on the snow up there to drink. But now because you can't really safely boil the water, there's no telling if you're going to kill the bacteria. So imagine dying of dysentery at fucking
but you could put the
at 28,000 feet.
But you could put the there's like little droplets that you could put
There's
in there
powder
to clean
shit.
it.
Yeah,
I don't know.
trust
They
that
have.
stuff.
I mean,
though.
that's what they have to be using. Because I have the little thing for when we go backpacking where you get river water and it's a
you
filter
put the powder
pump.
in there?
No, I mean you can do that, but I have this filter thing where you like pump it and it will have a filter. That's
Let me ask you a question. Upriver, if you saw a dude drop a dookie in it, would you filter that water and drink it?
I'd go above them.
You go above them.
Well, it's Dookie Everest.
That's what it. But that's supposed to be the purest.
It's not romantic anymore. Just climbing Everest, you know. But back in the day when I was a kid, I thought that's a cool thing. But now it's like
we turned Everest into a nightclub.
Yeah,
some dirty
some
nightclub.
German Scheiße
Dead
video,
bodies
dude.
and poop everywhere. It's like looks like some nightclub in the desert.
Never thought about it. But you know what? Remember, you know what's funny? We were talking about the crazy shit that that they're shooting with now, like doing all these 360 videos.
Yeah.
That would be one of those places. Like, why don't we just
Everest?
send up? Yeah, just to go see Everest. I mean, I know there's plenty of video of it, but climb it at home, and you'll charge for you want to try to
download,
just the download of it, and then it'd be like a rental, so it goes away.
I mean, I bet that view is pretty breathtaking when you're up there. But then
I would
you're
charge.
like, fuck, I gotta climb.
What would
all
you
the way
charge
back
for Everest? So
down.
let's say
No,
you
no,
go
no,
shoot
I was
it.
thinking right now, like anybody doesn't matter, but I would charge Stephen Hawking like $5 million.
Why?
Because he couldn't do it if he wanted
I'd be
to.
like, you want to climb Everest,
It's the
motherfucker?
dickest thing ever.
$5 million. Put on this Oculus Rift. We'll climb it. You can't
he
pay
couldn't
that.
do it.
He can't do it. It's fucked up, right?
No,
Probably
but you know,
could do it. He's smart enough. He'll create a fucking robot. Be like,
Right?
he just climbs it.
It's
I'm
like
like,
fucking.
Steven, we need to talk.
It's like I don't need to acculate motherfuckers. I'll climb this shit.
I've been here already.
That's horrible.
But can
That's
they?
kind of mean.
Can they like fly helicopters and shit up
No,
there?
helicopters have a certain altitude they can't fly above,
Which is
19,000 feet.
really
Yeah. So once you pass that 19,000 feet, there's
You're
no
fucked.
rescue for you.
you're fucked.
You're past that point of no return, which is great because it's kind of like, if you're gonna go, dude, and it's something like Everest, dude, it's like you're committing. You have to already accept that you're not gonna make
You
it.
could die.
Yeah.
And don't you have to pay a crazy fee, right?
If you die,
No. Just to climb Everest.
there's a lot of like red tape in order to get into Nepal, but apparently, I guess if you're dropping 26,000 pounds of shit every season, it can't be that bad. Because I mean, what are you eating up there? I wonder what the weight loss is. I wonder if you went up there. I mean, you got to be in pretty good shape already,
you got to be in great shape.
and to climb, how many calories do
And
you have?
how long does it take usually to climb Everest?
I don't know. You have that machine right there with that fruit on it. Figure it out. Let's let the people know.
Let's ask Stephen Hawking.
He probably knows.
Do the
You
math.
were charging $5 million, dude. You wouldn't
Think
let him
about
just have it
He
for
can't
free.
even leave. He can't even leave his fucking house without a van and a wheel. I'm telling you, a van and a ramp. Just put this on, baby. $5 million. Climb Everest.
I bet he'd rather pay that $5 million to find a cure for fucking ALS. You know what I mean? He's like, yeah, let me just throw $5 million away to see what the top of Everest looks like.
It's a gamble. But it's worth
National
it.
Geographic's probably got 20 videos on it. You know what I mean? Like, I think
Probably.
Bear Grylls did a
But
glider over
here's
it.
the deal. He can't change the channel.
Oh my God. Yes, he
I'm
can.
sorry. I love you. I'm sorry. I love you, Stephen.
You're being mean.
So,
Stephen
I mean,
Hawking.
what? This is crazy.
What is it?
They say this guy left base camp at 17,000 feet and got up to 29,000, the summit, in 12 hours 49 minutes.
Get
That's
the
how.
fuck outta
That's
here.
the record for it. I can't find just like the time it would take for just a regular person to do it.
Who was that? You say regular person. I'm
He's an
like,
animal. He's a monster.
This guy.
Cheetah blood? Was it Charlie Sheen?
Tiger blood.
Tiger blood? I mean, like, how do you get?
Lakpa Gelu, 35.
Oh Jesus.
I got 3 more years I can do it, dude. Yeah, right.
10 hours 56 minutes
To summit?
to summit.
He went over 10,000 feet in that long?
Yeah, I went 13,000 feet.
I can't even do disc golf on a fucking old slopes. Let alone this guy's doing it in 10 hours.
Makes you feel sad.
I mean,
all
but
these
that's-
assholes are in shape.
But think about this guy. That's this guy's like life. Like he was like, "This is what I'm going to do. This is my goal," and then he just did it. He didn't have anything else to do.
Nothing.
Got nothing else going on.
Mike and I were talking about this when we were in New Orleans. We knew a writer.
Holy
of the show.
shit! $11,000 per climber.
To do it?
just to get to Nepal, right?
Oh, no. I'm gonna charge
11 grand. Oh, but here's the thing I read about that.
$10,000.
So for the most part, what happens is it sounds like a large number, but most climbers get sponsorship. So when they get to the top of Everest, they take a picture with the
a
sponsors.
flag of their sponsor.
So that's how they usually fund.
14 North Radio, come on, guys.
There's gonna be 3 bodies up there,
We'll
dude.
do a podcast from the top, dude.
We don't get past 17,000. We don't make it to second base camp.
I'm gonna poop up there and die. That's what I'm doing.
That'd be a good documentary of how we ended the podcast,
Right?
They talk about it forever.
Could you imagine, like, nobody ever thinks about this shit, if they, like, recording people climbing up Everest?
They do it all the time. There's documentaries of it.
But no, I know. But the layman person isn't going to be like, fuck, that camera guy is a badass.
All camera guys, I think, dude, look at the Deadliest Catch camera guys.
I
dude.
I think there's no better, like, think about what they got to go
Dudes
through.
are raw.
My favorite thing is when you watch Shark Week and they get that fucking shot of the dude getting in the cage.
Right.
There's some asshole in the water with a camera.
Without a cage.
Without a cage, getting that shot. In the water with these fucking beasts.
That's true, dude.
Cameramen are like...
I always like...
They're the unsung heroes of
all shows.
I love the cameramen that would hide out in some outpost in like Russia for 3 months to get one.
Oh yeah, like
shot.
in
Africa,
Planet Earth.
Yeah,
the whole thing when they're in Antarctica and they're watching all these penguins just kind of like they're just like chilling out there until this like whole storm passes. It's like there's dudes sitting there.
Yeah,
for
how do you think they got that
months.
shot?
They're sitting in a bunker, dude,
For
just
3
rolling.
months.
Yeah, just rolling.
Dude, I remember I always liked when I used to have like cable, I liked watching Bear Grylls. Even though there's all this kind of skepticism about he goes to a hotel like that night and all this stuff.
Well, he still jumps in ice water, so...
No, but then the cameraman follows him.
Yeah.
Like, I saw this one where he jumped off this fucking cliff into this river, and the cameraman went right after him. How badass.
Then you have the opposite, which is the Honey Boo Boo cameraman.
Imagine having to score... Wait, that's me. That's the job I would be like, hey, we got Deadliest Catch here open, dude. And
Or
I'm like,
Honey Boo Boo. Like,
ooh,
fuck yeah.
I think I'll have to take the honey. Dude, I
Does
don't
it
think
pay
I
the
could.
same?
I don't
Pay the
think I
same?
could do the Bering Sea. And I fish, dude. I've been out in the open ocean, and I just don't think I could do that because those cameras are so good. They don't show what that boat's going through. They don't show it dropping, 30 feet from a wave that cut out from under them. It doesn't show that.
Yeah.
It's a static shot that goes with the boat, so the boat seems straight. Well, the ocean around them's going crazy, but in reality, they're all over the place, dude. People fucking die.
It's got to be nuts. I think I could do it, but I probably can't.
I'd probably go to space before I'd go to the Bering Sea.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, you're not a fan of water, and
Yeah, I don't like deep water. It scares the
it
shit out of
doesn't
me.
bother me.
But you know what the other thing is, too? If you really think about it, if you fell in the water in the Bering Sea, it wouldn't take too long.
No, you're done.
You're gonna be fine.
It's
It's just let it go. Just
I
release.
just wouldn't
wash
want to. I'd
over
be
you.
just like, I don't like. I remember as a kid, I didn't even like getting in the deep end of the pool where I couldn't touch.
As a kid, I had this very irrational fear of sharks being in the
I think a
pool.
lot of kids did, dude.
Mhm.
I had that. It wouldn't be till even I had a doughboy at the house growing up. I couldn't get in by myself.
Really?
If there wasn't another person in the pool, I wouldn't go in.
Yeah,
I would
it's weird.
psychologically
It's
fuck
weird
myself up.
how much like your brain could make you scared of like the deep water or just
Yeah,
water in general.
Just water in general.
The Chive asked not that long ago something stupid you thought of as a kid that is totally doesn't make sense anymore.
Right.
You see it? I had one, and I should have submitted it because it's fucking stupid. When I thought it was like raining in my town, I thought it was raining in the whole world, or like snowing or something. Like that's what I really believed. I thought it was just going to be. That's how the weather was in the whole
Everywhere.
planet.
You want to hear something even really stupider?
What?
I thought everybody was Mexican.
What? What?
I thought everybody
It was the same.
was the same, and then when I started becoming school aged, then it went to okay. There's Mexicans, Chinese, and blacks. That's it.
There was no white people around.
There was no white. I never.
But you
met-
watch movies. It was all full of white people.
I thought they were Mexican. I thought Dan Marino was Mexican. I always thought I was like, and then it wouldn't be until I moved to Little Rock, really, when I was like, "What are you creatures?"
What do you saw white people? In
Mom was like, "Those are white people, son." And it's so weird because
she had to sit you down.
I remember white kids like after the fact. I remember there was white kids at my high school in L.A. And I was always wondering why they were so pale and why their parents drove such nice fucking cars. I couldn't put my...
Those are the white people.
Those are the white folks. I couldn't wrap my mind around it, so that was something as a
They
kid.
run this shit.
Those are the people we pay taxes to. So.
It's funny because growing up in high school, I had like 2 black kids, maybe 3 Asians. The rest were white and Mexican.
Really?
Yeah.
Diversity.
Like, it was weird. Like, I didn't grow up with any black kids or Asian kids.
My first best friend was black.
Really?
Yeah.
See, but the thing is, so I went to school to a different high school than my siblings because we moved, like, when I was younger. When I was going into first grade, we moved to, like, the outside of town. But my brother and all my siblings had friends with all different races. And, like, to me, it was like, there is no other races,
right?
Really. Like, I mean, Mexicans were just, I mean, that was just a normal thing. It was just like, you're white to me, really.
Right.
But then seeing blacks and Asians, it was kind of weird, as growing up and being younger, because I wasn't around that
well,
at
you
all.
just noticed the difference.
And I did, but I was like, and I was such a curious kid. Like, I remember, this sounds so bad. I don't know if I've said this on the podcast before, but I had an Asian friend who was actually adopted by, he had white parents, but I asked him,
Go.
Can you
open your
homework?
No, I asked him, can you open your eyes any wider?
Oh, my
But I was curious. I was a little kid. I wasn't like a dickhead. I was literally just wondering. And he tried, and he's like, "No, I can't. I'm sorry."
Nice.
But yeah, it's weird. And then I moved to LA when I was 18. I didn't know a person here, and I took the metro for like 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
What a culture shock that was.
It's, you know what?
I was like the only white person in there.
As long as you don't get on the blue line,
Oh, I
it's
only
normal.
took the orange line or whatever it is.
Dude, when you get on the blue line, dude, it's another planet.
I was going to tell you, when I was a kid, I didn't know about race really, because I was saying my first friend was black, and nothing mattered until I went into their house.
It was just different.
No, it just smelled different. I was like, "Why does your house smell weird?"
You know what? Everybody's house smells.
And they're like, "No, their house smells weird. They have
Everybody
plastic
has
on the
their own
couch and
smell.
they cook pork all day." And I was like, "I don't know." It just smelled strange,
It's a family smell.
Yeah.
right?
Like when you walk into other people's homes, there's a scent to it, and it was like, it's just, you can't smell your own scent from your own house, but that's why everything smells so different. And then I grew up across the street from like an apartment complex that was just an all Asian complex, and they were always cooking some shit, and there was like 15
Nobody had
people
cats?
living in each. No cats.
Nobody had cats.
But it's crazy, dude.
So,
Yeah, go on. Go ahead.
So what?
let's talk about it. Let's talk about
You want to do it? You want to
Speak
talk
it
about it?
up.
We should talk about it.
I was gonna say, when we were in New Orleans, I felt such like a piece of shit degenerate, because the writer that was staying at the same hotel as us, probably, I don't know, I don't want to be mean, but she's in her probably 40s.
Gotta be.
And we wake up hungover, and she comes jogging into the hotel like, "Hey guys,
After a run?
good day
After
of
a run, coffee.
We're hungover. I probably have scabies. Mike's fucking lost 9 months of his life." And she comes jogging in like, "Hey guys, I hope you're on set." I was like, I fucking hate myself so bad right now.
It's funny because as you go to New Orleans more and more, you kind of chill out a little bit, because there's like this chill, like, okay, I did the first time, did the
Right.
second time. Now you hit time number 3 and 4 for this guy here. And for the most part,
The first week the first 4 days were okay.
they were okay. There was a couple late nighters in there. There's like some 3 o'clocks in there.
Not 3 for me.
No, you never made it to 3. We made it to
No.
3 the first night. This Monday night we got into town.
Was that 3?
Yeah, it was 3. And I can't even tell you what we did, but
Me neither. I don't know what happened.
going to the end of it all, like, so we were coming back Saturday,
Yeah.
and Friday night I was just burnt out. I was burnt out on the whole thing. And I tell Sean it's 9:30, and I'm like, I think I'm going to call it, dude.
And I was like, "No, Mike. It's the last night. It's Friday."
So we said, all right, we'll get a drink.
That was it.
At the bar upstairs, and they got a band going and the same waitresses that have been there all week.
Right.
So they know what we're drinking.
They already know.
They
your
know
name.
what we're
They knew us.
drinking,
They remembered us.
and the makers start coming.
Yeah. And this would happen. Next thing you know,
Blast 2,
fireworks into what was that place called?
Barcade.
Right, which is a bar arcade that has everything you want and a nightclub. And Mike and I, by the way, are celebrities at this place because we got a fucking podcast. We're telling
14
everybody.
North Radio,
14
guys.
North
You heard
Radio,
of us?
what's up?
You heard of us before?
Podcast. You don't even
Should've.
know.
Just
We're
act like you're
famous, world
famous.
famous. What's up?
We're just
and then
out
we start
here
buying people
no
drinks.
else.
Buy people drinks. We ain't got no money. We buy people drinks. That's it. 14 North Radio. What's
You need
up?
another beer?
What's up?
You need a beer.
Go. Beer. Shot. Beer. 14 North Radio.
And I was on the verge. I was on the verge, man. It was just like I was gonna go to sleep.
What'd you say to him, Sean?
I told Sean,
No.
you want to go back just a step? I was like, I think I'm gonna call it a night. It's 9:30.
You get some rest.
Get some rest. So get up in the morning. I'm gonna go take a look at the Garden District, which I'd never been. No,
I talked him into going to this barcade.
we
One
shut
drink.
down.
Everybody, one drink. It's going to happen.
One drink.
We closed the bar down. This place closed at 2:30 in the morning. They kicked us out.
Everybody's gone.
And so I was like, all right, I'm going to go to Harris, the casino, grab a beer, play some of the poker. And Mike goes,
Nope.
no.
Let's go to a bar
Let's go
on
to
Canal Street.
And a bar. I was
Guess
like,
what?
dude, I'm going to go play, just grab a beer. No.
There are no
I'm going
bars
to turn this up.
on Canal Street.
Guess where we ended up?
On the Bourbon Street.
Bourbon Street. And Mike and I are going super fast motion right now, dude. Like,
Bar to bar to bar to bar.
And there's
beats,
people on the street.
People on the street.
pissing, titties.
We get to
Don't
this
matter.
other place, and it was just
Pandemonium. They had a horse, or not a horse, a bull, a riding bull.
Mechanical bull.
Bachelorette's parties.
these are where the shots, other shots come in.
Yeah, so we started doing. What are the shots called?
They sucked. I don't know what they were, but they were fucking expensive.
I order all these shots for everybody. Next thing you know, they kick us out of Bourbon Street.
It closes. Bourbon Street closed.
I didn't know it closed. And Mike and I are like, we're fucking twerked. We're like, we're going to get a bottle.
We walk all the way back and pick
So you
up.
find a liquor store.
It was open. Pick up a bottle of Maker's Mark.
Bottle of Makers, went back to the hotel. Sun's coming up. We pop it open and start drinking this.
Fill up the little champagne glasses. And then I mean that's when I looked at the window and saw Mr. Beautiful Sun rising up, and I was like, "What time is it?" It's
Time to party.
5:30 in the morning, and we went from 9:30 p.m.
To going to bed.
It's a whole day of drinking.
It was a whole day. It was over 8 hours. It was crazy.
Yeah.
I just wanted to go to sleep.
I didn't know Bourbon Street shut down.
Closed. We
It
closed.
was weird because they were closing the doors, and I was like, "Wait, what does this mean?"
What are you doing?
Yeah, strange.
They're like, you don't have to go home.
Strange.
You can't stay here.
Oh man, that's some partying, dude. I don't think I've ever
I feel like I
partied
should
that
have.
hard.
I should have peed blood and went to church the next day.
We should have. Well, like, I was.
I might have peed blood. It was bad.
It was really bad. Like, and you know what? This is our own doing because we had the option of getting on the early flight. We could have left.
Like, no,
Nah, let's just stay. We'll walk around
we'll
Saturday.
just enjoy the
Sights.
sights.
Yeah.
Fuck no! I was drunk till probably about 2:30. We're already at the airport at this point in time, and I'm just like miserable.
Yeah.
Miserable.
It was a shitty flight.
Then to top it off, it was like every seat was taken on this plane.
Yeah.
And then it was just some asshole in front of me was just ripping ass the entire trip.
I heard-
What? Seriously?
I heard the altitude affects people's stomachs, so they.
Oh,
fart.
dude, I get bubble guts big time.
But it was gross, dude. I was just like, I was trying to sleep.
And I was sitting next to Precious on the plane. She was eyeballing my snacks. I was trying to eat snacks, and she was looking at it. I could feel her
You know,
eyes.
when shit's gonna go wrong, it's gonna go wrong. Because when we landed in LA, another 4 hours later, it's supposed to be a 3+ hour flight. It took 4 hours.
Well, we had a delay. We had an hour delay.
But even flight time was just 4 hours.
Yeah.
And then we landed LAX
Delay.
and sit on the runway for a half hour.
Oh God!
Just
It
on
was
the runway.
Then you wait for
please.
the
It's like just
luggage.
get me off this goddamn plane.
You cannot go anywhere. Anywhere.
Yeah.
Not even a gate open. They're like, you know what? Mike and Sean are on this plane. We're going to let them sit it out. We're going to let them think about what they did.
I feel like the bartenders at I don't even know where we were.
I feel like if somebody were to have like video document.
I wish I was there just
Video-
to document you guys.
Video-
No, you know who
documented
documented it
events.
was my wife. She texted me the next. I woke up to her text. She's like, "What the fuck did you do?" And I could just picture like. She sent me a still. It was a still capture of our email from the card because they canceled my card. They canceled my card because I was just Mr. Moneybags buying everybody drinks. And Shannon's like, what the fuck? And she sent me a still of the statement, and it was like bar, bar, bar. And it went from the time code from like 1 in the morning, 5:30 in the morning.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
So
that's when we bought a bottle. 5:30 in the morning. Bought a bottle of booze.
What were we gonna do?
What were we gonna do?
What were we gonna do?
No good.
at 5:30 in the morning.
5:30.
5:30.
You know, I didn't know what time it was. Honestly, to be in my defense,
5:30 purchase.
No idea what time it was. If we were to have been put up in front of a crowd or a mob and they were to say, like, there was that one dude that was just yelling at us about everything we did wrong, the whole crowd would be like, boo!
Throwing tomatoes and
food.
cabbage.
It's disgusting.
It was bad.
I really think I need to seek therapy.
So you guys didn't get sleepy at all. You're ready. You're raging the whole time.
Dude,
No,
if
we were tired
we
as
had
hell.
people to rage with, it would have went on. It would have
Yeah.
just gone on
We would have
forever.
carried it up.
We'd still be partying right now.
Bad. It was super bad. We should talk to somebody.
On that note, ladies and gentlemen. No.
I know, right? Speaking of, we need some more booze up in here. Terrible.
How do you stop? I want to stop.
Stop what?
But it's so fun. It's so fun partying.
You know what? Here's the deal.
Fucking 33
You
years
live
old.
one life. Just one time.
Dude, also,
Live it the way you want.
and you're not going nearly as hard as fucking like a huge percentage of people that go crazy
I
hard.
feel like I go hard in the paint. The only thing is, the difference between me and them, I don't use hard drugs.
And we're not getting
Well,
arrested.
yeah, that's
And we
true.
don't do it when
But
we have to work.
I mean,
That's true.
And also, but think like we looked up, what's his name?
Oh, Hunter S.
Hunter S.
Thompson?
Thompson's daily routine.
I think that's fake, though. Oh, Hunter S. Thompson.
Yeah.
I thought you were talking about the other dude.
Which the other dude?
The dude, hope they serve beer in hell.
Oh,
I
Tucker
always-
Max?
Tucker Max.
No,
I always thought he was
he's
fake.
irrelevant.
No, but Hunter S. Thompson went hard, dude. You went. It's like you went 1%.
We went one.
compared
I
to
think we did one
what he
day.
did.
The amount of booze that we did drink, though, was up there. I probably would have killed a lesser person.
So now, did you guys get sick?
No, never got
we're,
sick.
We're beyond that, buddy.
I don't. You
See,
know what,
no, I get. Actually, the only time I get sick is if if I'm all drunk and then I decide to smoke
Well,
weed.
you learned a long time
And then I
ago.
throw up.
You learned a long time ago not to mix jizz and booze.
It's just a one time.
Let's not remind people, okay?
Ah.
You fucking
sorry,
sicko.
sorry. I had to go there.
What are we gonna do? I don't know. I want to go one day and just chill out like a normal human being.
Just eat food.
Yeah, just be cool.
Food there's crazy.
Bitch, be
though.
cool.
You can't make it happen, man.
Yeah. Well, we want to thank you guys. I wish you could have came out and saw it for real. But then you probably never talked to us again.
You would judge us too much.
See, I wasn't even there, guys, and
All you assholes would judge us.
I've heard stories that have not been been
Privy-
safe for
privy
radio.
No, don't say that. You're going to get me in trouble.
Nobody's got to know.
Nobody listens to this thing.
There's no listeners.
My future employers can be like, oh, so this. Tell me about this 14 North Radio podcast you guys had.
Hopefully next episode we got another guest. We had one today, but canceled.
Flaky McFlakerson.
I might have a buddy. I don't know. We'll see.
You have friends?
Yeah, friends.
I have like one friend that might do it.
All right, guys. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next week with the incredible Johnny Depp. Ladies and gentlemen, he's coming into the... Yeah. Psych!
I think I got crabs. Is there cream for that?
14 North Radio.
You gotta shave.
There's no cream for crabs?
All you do is shave, dude. That's all you could do.
That's it.